Welcome, bienvenue. My name is Mazen Ricketts, founder of Capture the Star Education Center, and today I will be guiding you through information on our Grow With Me bilingual program. Let's get started. On our agenda for today, we are going to kick things off with a brief background story on Capture the Star Education Center. Then we'll head right into the spotlight. Today, we're spotlighting the Grow With Me Bilingual Preschool program. We'll talk about the admissions, and in the overview section, we're going to really get to know the structure of the program, the structure of the classroom, as well as what to expect on your day-to-day here at Grow With Me. We're then going to share the many benefits that your child will receive after completing the program, and also the reasons why this program is right for you and right for your child before entering JK or SK in 2020. We're going to conclude the presentation with 5 frequently asked questions, and the Q&A session is open only for our live listeners, and that will be a 15-minute session after the frequently asked questions. Now, who is Capture the Star? So far you may have gathered that we're a tutoring center, but we're not any ordinary tutoring center. We really take pride in our community. We are nestled in the heart of Mississauga, and we cater to communities across the GTA. We support learners pre-K right through to grade 12 in all subject areas and of all levels. So that's IEP right through to IB. We offer in-home and in-center sessions, and each and every one of our education plans are customized. But that's not all. You know, like through our website and through our social media platforms, you probably learned a lot about us, but there are 3 amazing facts that you may not find there, and I'd love to share them with you. Here are the facts. Capture the Star Education Center officially opened doors June of 2018. We are Guinness World Record holders for the longest paperclip chain done by a group, and we have a proven success rate of 90%. So just to give you a bit of context, we opened doors last year. However, we at Capture the Star actually have 16 years experience in education. As I mentioned earlier, my name is Mazen Ricketts, and I'm founder of Capture the Star Education Center. And I fell in love with teaching, and I fell in love with tutoring about when I was in the 10th grade, and I haven't stopped teaching or tutoring since. So last year, or the year before last, about 2 years ago, I noticed that there was this growing call, this growing need from teachers to get that additional support on the other side of the classroom, and that's really where Capture the Star came about. I decided to commit full time to shaping our future leaders, and honestly, it's been one of the most rewarding experiences in my life. Speaking of very rewarding experiences, we are Guinness World Record holders for the longest paperclip chain, and that happened last year at our grand opening. We thought that it would be really neat to bring the community together with an activity, and what better way than by setting a new world record, and that's exactly what we did. It was tons of fun. But I'm most proud of our success rate. So we have a proven success rate of 90%. And what that means is that 90% of the students that work with our educators here at Capture the Star achieve or improve by a grade point and a half or more. Okay, so that's moving from a B to an A+, a C to a B+, and that's the minimum. It's really usually around 2 grade points, but we're super proud of our success rate, and we only hope that it improves. So hope that you learned something new about Capture the Star today. Heading right into the spotlight and having a closer look at the Grow With Me Bilingual Preschool program, we can just start off by saying, you know, we understand that Capture the Star Education Center as a whole was sprouted from that growing need of additional support for teachers, for students, and for parents. Now, Grow With Me Pre-K program only reinforces the same notion. We're looking to support those learners from a younger age, right? To create a stronger foundation from which they can grow. You know, the earlier you catch them, the easier it will be in later years. Now, this is our second installment of the Grow With Me program. Our very first installment was last year, and we had 4 little learners graduate our class. With the success of last year, we're very, very happy to introduce our very first installment of having a French language learning class as well, where our little learners there will graduate with an elementary knowledge of French. Now the curriculum, again, as we said, we always customize our curriculums. The English classes, because there will still be English classes if you don't wish to opt in for the French classes. The English classes, our content is based on the SK and Grade 1 Ontario curriculum. And if you are opting for the bilingual French classes, we are going to be working with the JK and SK curriculum. However, it's going to be based on the Conseil Scolaire Viamonde, which is the French school board here in Ontario. We obviously are going to make any adjustments as we go along to ensure each and every one of our little learners are consistently growing. Now, having a look at our admissions, we are welcoming little learners entering junior or senior kindergarten in 2020. We're going to keep it to an intimate group of 4 to 6 little learners per class, and we're going to have 2 educators per class. So there's 2 educators for the bilingual classes and 2 educators for the English classes as well. Our registration is open right up until September 5th, and our first class is on Monday, September 9th. We offer a very, very competitive rate of $15 an hour, and that can be paid through 2 different options. So you can pay for the full interval, that's 3 months, or you can pay on a monthly basis. And last but not least, it is super important to note that our little learners must be potty trained. Just a side note as well, parents are more than welcome to stay during the class for the entire class or for part of the class, whatever they prefer, but they're definitely welcome to stay. So in our overview section, we are going to take a look at the structure of the classroom, as well as what to expect in a typical day at the Grow With Me program. So classes are officially 1 hour. However, we ask parents to allot about an hour and a half. Just give us a little buffer room. We want to make sure that each and every one of our little learners are getting the full benefits of the class. So that means an hour's worth of work every single class. Classes are held daily at 11 a.m. and we have 2 sessions per week. So Monday and Tuesday will be dedicated to our English classes. Thursday and Friday we will have our bilingual French classes. And we're working with a pretty diverse group of learners, so we have different learning styles and different levels. We made sure that our curriculum reflects the same, and we've included all elements of VARC. I'm going to explain what VARC is and how we can do that assessment, and how it could benefit you if you know how the type of learner you are as a person. We work in 3-month intervals, and what does that mean? It means that for the 3-month period, we're going to focus on 1 or 2 subject areas before taking a little break and moving on to 2 different subject areas. So let's explore VARC. VARC is an acronym used to denote the 4 main learning styles: visual, oral, reading and writing, and kinesthetic. Though reading and writing is more of a learned learning style, it is universal. So it's super important for us to incorporate that into our curriculum. And what's interesting about VARC is that most individuals use 1 or 2 learning styles. They don't really just stick to one. Are you aware of your preferred learning style? It's time for a quiz. Click on the VARC questionnaire below, and it's going to bring you to the universal VARC questionnaire. It's about 13 questions. And once you finish the questionnaire, it will show you what your preferred learning style or styles are. It's important for you to be aware of your learning style because those are usually the teaching tactics or techniques that you're going to lean on when you're working with your child. Understanding and being aware of different learning styles as well will help you build a stronger relationship with your child and shape them in a way that will support their preferred learning style. So what does a typical day at the Grow With Me program look like? We begin each morning with yoga or stretching. It's a great way for our little learners to connect with one another, sets the tone of the class, and it gives us an opportunity to reinforce the naming of body parts, reinforce those actions and movements, especially for our French language learners, but also for English learners. And then we're going to continue on that momentum with our mat talk. So we are going to have an interactive sharing of a short story and follow that by a group activity. Group activities are usually the favorite. It gives our little learners an opportunity to take turns, collaborate, match, identify, use the whiteboard, and develop other motor skills. And finally, we follow that with an independent work session. This is where they're using the pen and paper, tracing, and doing different activities based on the area of study. After all of that work, you definitely need to refuel with a healthy snack, and we may or may not end our day with a dance party. It's very, very important for us to end on a high note. Let's discuss the intervals. So we've mentioned intervals briefly throughout the presentation. It's a 3-month period of time where we're focusing on 2 or more subject areas. We found that last year we had fantastic results, so we're going to go ahead and continue with that same framework. Our interval dates are as follows. So it starts on September 9th and it runs right through to November 29th, and we're going to resume our second interval starting on January 6th right through to March 27th. And our final interval will be on April 6th and finishing on June 26th. So each interval is going to be focusing on different topics, alphabet and phonics for our first interval. In English, we're going to be comparing, identifying letters, introducing consonants and vowels, reviewing sight words, and then we're going to bind that all together with those pre-reading skills. So really working with consonant blends and rhyming words. In French, or French language classes, we're going to learn the alphabet, we're going to understand the phonics behind each letter, and I really want to show how certain letter combinations sound because it doesn't always translate to what you see on paper. So I really want to make sure that at the age of 3 they're understanding that there's a difference between what's written and how it's pronounced. And then we're going to discuss accents and master rhyming words. In our second interval, that is starting on January 6th, we're going to look at numbers and colors. So in English and in our French classes, we're going to be learning our numbers 1 to 20, numerical and written. We're going to learn those colors. We're going to introduce quantities, so that's less than and more than, greater than, smaller, bigger. And then for our English learners, we are going to focus on simple addition and subtraction. Our last interval, we're going to wrap everything up and we're going to incorporate all 4 areas of focus into a grammar lesson. Now I know that that sounds like a really big title for a 3 or a 4-year-old, but when we're talking about bringing everything into a grammar lesson, we're talking about encouraging our little learners to explore writing simple sentences really by tracing and then filling in the blanks and then free form. It's super important for our French language learners to be able to say simple sentences in French, work on building that vocabulary, work on those sight words, and master that before entering school in 2020. Now that we've shared details on our Grow With Me program, the structure and how it works and how we've incorporated the French language classes as well, here are some of the benefits that your child will receive after completing and graduating from our Grow With Me program. They are going to be able to identify different letters and numbers and colors, understand the difference in quantities, order and classify numbers and letters. They're going to be able to write all of the letters, their name, sight words, construct those simple sentences orally and graphically, understand the structure of the classroom, follow instructions with precision, team building, collaboration, and most of all, they will have built so much confidence after completing our Grow With Me program. We're now going to answer 5 frequently asked questions. On the following slide, there will be a link with my contact information. if I wasn't able to answer your questions here today. So question number 1, do one of the two parents need to be French speaking? In short, no. It would definitely facilitate the learning, however, it is not mandatory. Reason being is that both of my parents are non-French speaking, and I was still very successful at the French immersion program, both at the elementary level as well as at the high school level. I even continued my French education studies at the post-secondary level, both here and in Quebec. I'm well aware of the challenges that my parents faced when they were trying to support me in my French learnings. So we've created a curriculum to better support parents that are non-French speaking. Question number 2, is there a workbook to purchase? All of our workbooks are provided. They do remain in the center for the duration of the interval. However, we do have a virtual classroom with very similar resources. Then you'll be able to support your little learner that way. Question number 3, can I sign my child up for both French and English classes? Absolutely. We actually highly recommend that you sign your child up for the English classes if you're going to sign your child up for the bilingual French classes. Reason being is that the French classes will give them a head start in the French language learning, but we know that English is mainstream, so we want them to have a strong foundation there as well. Question number 4, how many sessions can my child miss before they are waitlisted? So we keep the class between 4 to 6 little learners, and we really focus on creating an environment that supports and nurtures their growth. So if there are 3 consecutive missed sessions or 5 missed sessions in an interval, your child will be waitlisted. Waitlisted means that they won't be attending any more classes for the remainder of the interval. Now we certainly understand that there are extenuating circumstances, so we bear that in mind, but we really want to keep the focus on the work and minimize any distractions. So as such, we don't backfill any vacancies. What does that mean? It means if we start the interval off with 4 little learners and 1 child is waitlisted, then we will continue on for the remaining of the interval with those 3 little learners. And that kind of segues into our question number 5. What is your cancellation policy? So once the interval start date has passed, there are no refunds. We don't backfill any vacancies because that vacancy is for your little learner. They can definitely apply or register for the 2nd interval or the 3rd interval, the following interval, and continue their studies there. But it's very important for us to protect the environment and the growth of the little learners that are attending our classes. So hopefully these questions were helpful and I was able to answer any concerns that you had. Still have a few questions? Click on the Contact Us link below. And that's a wrap. Congratulations, you've made the first step towards investing in our future leaders. Thank you for your time.